done yet? Nope. Welcome. Dude, it's gonna be a slower one today because I'm not gonna lie. I just woke up. I was drained from back-to-back flights, but welcome to Fluffernutter Live, episode 14. Ooh, your boy's got his script wrong. I got it on episode 12. This is how behind I'm gonna be. Today's gonna be a little chaotic. Even this eye here is like semi-swollen. Ugh, I'm beating myself up here. Alright, hold on. Let me make sure I get the right episode here. We're on episode 14, not 12. Math, that was 2 ago. Okay. It always starts. For you guys that are new, all my Fluffernutter lives aren't necessarily aviation specific. Oh my god, now I can't even talk. Are not always aviation specific. Sometimes they'll just be random. Like today, I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to talk a lot about my flights, about like my scariest landing that I've had so far. The being able to fly up with those F15s that were circling around Eastern North Carolina. I'm going to talk about that. But I also talk about like random shower thoughts and usually Spacex related stuff because I am a fan of rockets. I love them to death. So, but always got to start this off with Fluffernutter. If you don't know what a Fluffernutter Live, or if you don't, Fluffernutter Live is my thing. If you don't know what a Fluffernutter is, it is, well, I don't even have a picture of it. It is a peanut butter and marshmallow sandwich put together. By the way, I talk about all those things, and at the end I answer all everybody's questions, but I kind of messed up today, once again, falling a little behind. I usually post a question sticker, like, hours in advance to give everyone a chance to be able to ask whatever question they want. Today I posted it like 3 or 4 hours prior to the show, so I didn't give anyone really a chance to be able to ask what they needed to. But if you see this, you can ask here in the comments, or you can just go ahead and message me like how most people do anyways. So, how have you guys been? You as tired as me? No? You doing back-to-back IFR flights too? Mom, I know you're out there. Actually, she's talking. When did you get that shirt? Don't recognize it. Forever ago. I've had this shirt for like 4 years. It's actually kind of nasty. I haven't washed it in 4 years either. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm practicing proper hygiene and stuff. Alright, we got the peanut butter on. You know what's funny? I notice a lot of these shows that I do, I end up not wanting the sandwich, and then I end up still eating it anyways, because the fat kid in me it eats without actually needing to eat. Oh, look at this. Look how, that's American in like the worst of ways. You ever think about the things that we put in our body, and we're just like, your body's like, my body's going to have to digest this, and that's kind of fucking horrible. Oop, I cussed. Sorry. One of the first things I'm talking about. So it was just coincidental timing about the F-15s. Johnny, I got the water. I swear I have the water this time. Actually, hold on. The last one you weren't here, I actually forgot my water. So you need to pick up the game here and be at one of my live shows. I'm not going to handle that shit. So, all those F-15s were flying around. They were doing an honorary flight to the medical professionals. Here in North Carolina, they were pivoting. They essentially started from Seymour Johnson, which is like southeast-ish North Carolina, and they circled around all the way to near Raleigh and then back down south. On their way back down south, one of their pivot points was my practice airport. Kinda. They're actually pivoting at hospitals, and that was their waypoints. Hold on. I clearly can't multitask right now, guys. Actually, dude, when you do back-to-back flights, okay, what ends up happening, most lessons are at least 2.5 hours long. Now, 5 hours of flying. Doesn't seem like much, but I'm telling you, when it's 5 hours of just, like, continuous, meticulous, precise movements, it'll drain you. Especially constantly, like, being in, it's not hot, but you're definitely not always comfortable. So, the U40 is actually as comfortable as it gets. I'm so glad I'm not in the 20 anymore. You like these? I've literally never met a single person that has heard Fluffernutters and actually liked them. They always just usually, you guys have to turn on my recorder. That just means on the YouTube video, I have to record the audio of these because when I screen record these to upload them to YouTube, the audio is horrible. So I have a recorder. Actually, I'll show you. It's this guy. And that's what allows me to have good quality. So this video that's getting uploaded to YouTube, midway through is just going to have good quality out of nowhere. But yeah, I love Fluffernutters. I do. So, I mean, I don't like them, like, for example, I schedule these every 7 o'clock on every Saturday.
and I don't always want them, but they have been amazing to have around. So definitely not healthy. What was I talking about? F-15s, flying around, back-to-back flights and being tired. And, man, full ADHD today. So, yeah, it's tiring. So, those F-15s that were flying around, we were doing back-to-back flights. We were at our practice airport. The F-15 started coming down Raleigh. Now, what was cool is, once again, they went east and they went north, which is going to look backwards to you guys. And then when they were on the northern side, we were up there as well. We were essentially circling around Raleigh, going to different airports, doing different like IFR approaches. And those that are following that don't know what IFR means, it's instrument flight rules. It essentially means that I'm only flying the aircraft by instrument. The idea is that I can fly an aircraft without having to look outside. Assume the scenario that it's foggy, misty, clouds are everywhere, and I can't see the airport. This is why pilots are able to fly in bad weather. Bad weather. Can't fly through. We're not supposed to fly through thunderstorms, but supposedly it still happens. So as we were up in the northern part, we could hear them. We heard them come on the comms, and there's a common frequency that a lot of like the smaller airports use, and you can listen to them, and you can just hear this guy saying like, fleet of 4 F-15s in the area, traffic to, and I forget how they said it, but they were asking for traffic to notify themselves. We weren't nearly close enough to them or even in their area to have to respond to that. Until we went direct south, right? So we went direct south, but they were still circling around to come down this way. So as they came down, they came back on the frequency again, and they're telling us to notify traffic. And we didn't have to notify anything, but if you saw my Instagram post, like we were close. And to a point where we were descending, we're actually doing an IFR approach to land at Johnson County, which is the practice airport. And as we were doing the approach, my instructor was like, nah, call it off. Because we could see them. They were crossing paths with us. And so we called it off and just went a different direction. Put that thing on autopilot. Still monitored everything, but like kept watching it. And it was so cool to see these dudes. I was even questioning because at first I couldn't see them. We had this map that shows all the aircraft that are around us. And on that map, I was like, how do you know which one it is? And he scrolled to the people to the it was only one blip. It doesn't show all 4 F-14s or F-15s. It just showed them, and he's like, yeah, they're doing 253 knots. That's them. Because in our aircraft, like, we never do more than like 130 knots at most. So 250 knots. I think that's like their slow range. So, but yeah, that was really interesting. And I didn't really, I don't know. It was one of those things that as like when I posted it, it kind of made me realize how awesome it was to have that timing, because people were messaging me and talking about how like, hey, that's really cool. Like people were posting pictures from the ground of these F-15s flying. I gotta say saying F-14s. I'm pumped about Top Gun coming out. That's probably what it is. But yeah, that was really cool. On that same day though, and actually it was right before this happened, I had my scariest landing ever. So, I wonder if I can, I'm gonna draw it. I didn't even clap myself on. Give me a second. Calm down. Hold on. I want to clap my... I can't even hear that. Okay, I'm going to draw this out. I'm going to draw you a runway. And it's going to be really weird because you're backwards, or I'm backwards. I don't know who's backwards. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this enough. Runway. Okay? This is runway. Alright, this is what ended up happening. So, I'm coming in, so we're going to picture it like this sideways, right? Coming into land like this direction. Okay. Oh. So, as that was happening, right, I was coming in, and as the land, now, mind you, out of nowhere, we're starting to deal with like 20 knot gusts. Now, this isn't an excuse. I mean, it's a playing factor, but I didn't compensate properly for it. So I'll show you what I did. So, ended up coming down, right? And you're always supposed to land on center line. Now, they have these things, right? They have like these little lines and then these big, thick, like white lines that are here, right? Usually aim for those little lines. So you aim for those, and then you float a little bit. It's called ground effect. The aircraft actually literally floats. It creates its own like little bubble of air below it, and then it slowly comes down and lands. So you do that. You do that there. You do the pivot to flare, and then you land on the big ones, okay? That's what I was trying to do. Let me get it higher so the comments don't block it. Okay, so I landed, and then that gust of wind came in, and next thing you know, I'm over here, And it was like, oh shit. And now I'm trying to go back over here, but the aircraft is still pointed in this direction. So it was like this. And I'm trying to like add more rudder and go back in. And just by the point, we passed these at this point. Flew past them, and I was like, nope. And I just like crammed it in. We did a go, it's called a go around. And it's supposed to be default to landing. Like a lot of people think that landing is default, but go rounds are default. Which essentially, you cram the throttle, you pull the stick back, and you fly away safely. And actually, there's an acronym. There's the 5 C's, right? It's cram, climb, and you clean, which is where you bring the flaps up. And the 4th one is called calm, and you're supposed to calm yourself down, and then you make a call out to the airport that, hey, I missed the approach and I'm coming back around. That calm one comes in handy because if you don't, I haven't had this happen to me once, but I've heard it over the comms, where people don't calm down before a go-around, and it sounds like the dude had a stroke. Because you're supposed to be like Johnson County, 408 Bravo Lima, doing a missed approach for runway 3, Johnson County. And people come on and be like, 47 Johnson, okay. And then they get off comms. It's like, what'd you just say? So, I didn't even let you check it. Here, hold on. This one's not as good as the previous ones. I'm telling you, man, not as motivated today. Okay. Baby Snow Joe, they're the best. Nope, makes my heart happy. We should change that necklace to pilot wings. No. This means more to me. Your mom flew in an F15 and was sick as a dog. I don't understand that phrase. Why do they say sick as a dog? Do dogs get more sick than other animals? Is that just like a normal thing? Why not? I don't know. What's something that gets sick all the time? Sick as a cat? I don't know. Oh yeah. Let me hydrate. What's the other thing? So yeah, that was the scariest landing because we're talking like literally, it was a series of gusts pushing me off the runway, one wheel touching, the other wheel not touching, but nose still pointed up, but in the wrong direction. It was just a series of bad shit. And I've never been that far right on a runway. So, and that's where like winds can play a factor. The reason why I say that winds can't be the excuse is because we're trained how to deal with crosswind scenarios. And preparing before you enter a flight, that's a huge factor. Like prior to landing, you prep for that flight, or you prep for that landing. And if you do everything right on into the landing, everything's set. I was off like 7 steps behind. Like I was behind the ball on a lot of things. You can sometimes compensate as you get in, like by step like 3 or 4. You know, maybe you can like fix a few things and compensate. But it ended up just being like, nope, it's just a bad landing. And they happen. So hold on. You guys, it is nuts to me. Okay, this is my logbook. I have already done over 130 takeoffs and landings. 130. That is crazy. That's weird to me. I feel like I've only done a couple, like way less than 100, but I've definitely done 130 takeoffs and landings. That's crazy. Why were you off by so many steps before landing? Usually it's a series of things. It's really hard to explain. When you're in the plane, it's easy to explain because there's all these like little things that can mess it up. So like, let's say you forgot to make a call out. So you're like, oh shit, that gets in your mind. So you're like, okay, cool. You have to do your call out to let people know that you're about to land. And then as you do that, you realize, oh shit, I was also back there, was supposed to be like in the midst of that call. I was supposed to be like putting flaps down or doing something like that. So it's like a snowball effect. It happens. It's called task saturation. And essentially it's where it's just too many tasks are going on. And that's actually what they train you on. They push you in that kind of environment to make you like be able to work in that kind of pressure. And with time, and it's really weird, it works very well. With time, you learn how to operate in that kind of pressure. So, and that's what happened with me. I don't remember what it was. It's always something small that turns into something bigger and bigger and bigger. And by the time you get to landing, you're like, well, shit. So that's the beauty of go-arounds. And they heavily push go-arounds. Any of you guys that watch these that are about to go into flight school, I heard that it's not common for go-arounds to be pushed a lot. But I guess I don't know. That seems weird to me. I don't know why any flight school wouldn't push go-arounds. At Blue Line, they definitely push that go-arounds are default. Landings are not. So that's a thing. Okay, so I have a shower with another shower thought. I feel like I just turn this into its own little segment. What's that? So that's common. It's common for students. To be clear here, like airline pilots don't usually go through this. I mean, think about it. How many times have you been in an airline and heard or seen the plane like go around during landing? Like almost never. And it's just because like with time, well, for sure, it's people forget to put the wheels down. Okay, it is crazy. It happens. Okay, task saturation is like this really dangerous concept because, okay, the aircraft that have a retractable landing gear. Okay. There's a stall horn. There's not a stall horn. There's a warning sound that occurs when you don't bring when you don't bring it down. And you would think, right? You're landing. That annoying sound going off would be like, "Hey, heads up! Like your wheels aren't down." That would be enough. But it's not. And I've experienced this before. I've experienced the stall horn going off, which means you're going too slow and the plane now wants to just drop. Right? There's like a buffer. There's a safety buffer when that stall horn goes off before the point you stall, and that's gone off, and I hear it, but you're so zoned in on the task that you just forget about it. And that's what they teach you about. That they teach you to be more aware of your surroundings in a pressured environment. And so when people have they'll land their aircraft like belly first, literally no landing gear. It happens all the time. Happened in not in Orlando. It happened in Jacksonville recently. So, okay, shower thought. So, this is, shower thoughts are always going to be stupid, so I'm going to preface with that, always, right? But I noticed that, okay, how do I say this? Okay, people that follow up something, right, they express something metaphorically, or they describe something metaphorically, and then they follow that up with, my point is, ... right? People that say that, I feel like, are not wise. And I fall into that category because I always have to say my point is because I feel like I have to explain myself. But if you think about it, right, like monks, intellectual people, never follow up some big metaphorical explanation or some great description with my point is. They just kind of leave you hanging. Think about any, like, what's that? Oh, what's the Karate Kid movies and stuff like that? All the little Japanese little golden nuggets that he was giving him, right? That's one of those things where it's like he just gives it to him and lets him figure it out on his own. So, to me, I think it's weird, but wise people don't say my point is. They just don't follow up with that. They just kind of leave you hanging. Kind of a dick move, but also there for your own development. Wax on, wax off. Correct. He didn't say wax on, wax off. My point is, it never says that. So, keep that in mind, talking to somebody. Maybe it's your instructor, and they follow up with, my point is. Although, I don't know if, they don't use very many metaphors in the airline industry, or the aviation industry. So, okay, final thing I want to talk to you guys about, unless you guys want to talk about anything else. And then I'll get to the few questions I have. I don't have that many, because once again, I messed up, and I didn't give you guys the question sticker with enough time. So, moon landers. So that's a huge thing that just happened. NASA there was this thing that's been going on for the past 2 years. It's something called the Artemis program. The Artemis program is equivalent to the Apollo program of the 1960s. Okay, the Artemis program is to bring us to the moon and keep us there. None of this bullshit of like visiting and then coming back and that's it. The idea is to put bases there, laboratories there, the whole deal. And it's also supposed to be a pivot point to other terrestrial planets that we may want to go to, or planets that we want to make terrestrial, like Mars. So, NASA announced the Artemis program fucking forever ago. 2 years ago, they announced that they were looking for commercial partners to essentially to create a moon lander, right? Now, they've already been pretty much like have already announced, right? Like, for example, SpaceX, if you've ever seen their Starship, right? That thing was already designed to go to Mars and land on its own. So there's no reason it couldn't land on the moon. And people were kind of just waiting to see because NASA hadn't announced it yet. Like, who did they choose? And the reason why this is a big deal is because NASA hasn't always chosen people based off of, like, what makes sense. They sometimes choose because, like, lobbying gets involved. I.e., like, Boeing and shit like that. Blue Origin, who, if you don't know who Blue Origin is, they are, and I actually think someone asked a question about Blue Origin today. They are a company owned by Jeff Bezos, who's the owner of Amazon, okay? They have their rocket company. And Blue Origin's cool. Like, I have to admit that. they have their moon lander, which is not cool. It's called Blue Moon. Even the beer company was kind of making fun of them for it, the beer company Blue Moon. But anyway, so yeah, they announced them, and there was another company, I don't remember the other name, which is kind of sad. It's just some off-brand, multi-collaborative company that like is going to make a moon lander. It is crazy. I wonder if I can pull up, I'm going to see if I can pull up a picture of it. Because, oh, I don't know how I would do that. Yeah, I probably couldn't. The size comparison is insane. It is crazy how would I... Okay. This, right, is going to be like Blue Origin's Moonlander, or the other dude's Moonlander. I forgot the other company's name, right? So that's going to be their Moonlander, okay? This is literally Starship. Like, not even joking with size comparison. And, like, mind you, like, we're supposed to be able to carry, like, transport humans and everything, but whatever reason, NASA's like, yeah, we want as many as possible, which is smart. I get the idea. But, it's crazy how, like, different, how far ahead SpaceX is when it comes. They're just in a league of their own. And if you ever want to check it out, I think I posted... No. I'm going to have to post it. I posted on my Instagram story. I'll have to actually post it to my Facebook page. It's literally someone took a picture and scaled them the size. It is crazy how different it is. It's literally like they took somebody from the past, like from the 1970s type space company, and said, hey, go ahead and compete with today's like space companies. And it was, it's crazy. 1 point is points. They land on the moon. If being a pilot wasn't an option, what else would you do? I can't tell you. It's a business, I'll tell you that much. There's a business that I want to do. It's unique per se in its own little properties, but it's definitely something. I come from business, so anybody that follows this, I was a business architect prior to this. My whole job was, let's say you were skilled at something, but you hate business. I was the guy you would come to essentially. I would come in. Okay, let's say the last guy I was working with, his name is Tahir, has a company called Guardian Wraps, and I helped him establish his business. He was really good at wrapping, but he hates the business side of things. I love Excel sheets and systems and marketing. I don't know why. So, for me, I come in and I help people establish their finances and all that deal. I love business. I love entrepreneurship. It's really slow picking up and putting you in a good financial position to be financially secure and later on in the future. Which aviation kind of played a role in why I'm in aviation at this point, to an extent. It's not the only reason why. So, stripper logistics. What? The hell? Let me answer some of you guys' question really quick. That is blank, so it's probably spam. By the way, if you guys don't know, when I post these little sticker question things, actually I'm just going to pull up the first one. When I put these little sticker things, I always get spammed. Like, people like spam asks questions. Well, kind of. They say random things like, look at my webcam. Or, hey, look at me, I have a SpaceX fact. It's really weird. Do you ever scare your flight instructor? On purpose? No. But I don't think I haven't been as bad as I've heard. Of like the stories I've heard of like what has happened for instructors in the past. I've been pretty decent, so I think I should be good. By the way, this is posted by Matthew. Okay, I'll post it after this. I'll post it in there. Some people have been messaging me about what it's like for student housing. I don't live in student housing at Blue Line. For me, I actually live with family, I guess you'd call it. It is my stepdad's, so it'd be my stepdad's brother who lives out here in Raleigh, and I'm with him. Anything to save on rent as much as possible. And their house is amazing. It is crazy. I feel spoiled living here, to be honest. But there is, anyways, Matthew is the guy that asked this question, and I will post his thing after this. You can actually go to his profile. He just created an aviation-based profile. Any questions you have about Blue Line, as well as about being a student there, or being in student housing, he's another guy you can resource. So you can ask me as many questions you want, and then you can also talk to him. He's more than willing to talk to you guys about whatever. So that's a thing to keep in mind. And like I said, I'll post this, after this live show's done, I'll post it in my Instagram story for you to go to his profile. And those that are watching this on YouTube and Facebook, I think it'll work, but I'll go ahead and link you to his profile as well. GoPro setup. I got you, hold up. yikes. Not gonna lie, there's a whole GoPro I'm missing right now, and I don't know where it is. Hopefully it's not at the place. Anyways, this is my GoPro setup. So, it's the normal suction cup, but this is the metal bracket, and the reason why I chose the aluminum bracket is because when you're up in the air, there's a lot of shaking, so you need something that's going to be rigid that can actually hold this. I actually have to have a wrench to tighten these to make sure that they don't move around. I don't know if that's overdoing it, but it's a thing I have. This is a Hero 5. I honestly don't see why you need more than this if you can get it. The Hero 8 and stuff like that for high quality, go for it. But the quality in this has been amazing so far. So that's the thing. This case that's around it, that's a battery. So right now, even to this day, there's not a GoPro standalone that can actually survive. It'll actually die with like in an hour and a half. My only one flight is 2.5 hours. So I had to get this case. And it extends the battery life to like 4 hours long or something like that. So it works out perfect. And my other GoPro, I have 2 of these, and the other one has a prop filter on it. It's literally just an ND filter. You don't buy the ones that are called prop filters. Those are stupid. It's like $80, $30. It's the same thing. So, and actually, Elbro BP22. I don't know if I said that right. I'm a videographer as well. So, heads up for anybody that's watching this. That's why I do all these videos and stuff like that. So, DJ Novik Wave. He probably already left, though. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Favorite plane. I don't know if you call it a plane. I am a huge fan of the Osprey, and I'll probably never be able to fly it, because to this day, it's still not commercialized. Hell, they just, in aviation terms, recently made it one for Marine One, what the pilot actually flies in. So I love the Osprey. I think that's literally the most amazing thing ever. I think it's sexy. And I'm even a bigger fan of the Bell V280 Valor, which is like the new one that's coming out, but it's not real yet, per se. I mean, it's kind of a thing. What do you think of Blue Origin? Oh, okay, so yeah, this is the question earlier. Okay, so once again, Blue Origin is owned by Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon. So he makes all of his money from Amazon. He takes money from Amazon and dumps it into Blue Origin, which is another space company. Blue Origin is cool, and I genuinely think that they're going to give SpaceX a run for their money in the future. They just have different philosophies on how they approach it. Blue Origin is actually more interested in creating a huge space station in orbit and being able to launch and manufacture rockets from there. Whereas Elon has a different mentality of like having like ports and stuff like that along the way to Mars. So two interesting companies that will be doing. And the New Glenn's going to be coming out. New Glenn is like, it's just a huge ass rocket, and it's all in Kennedy Space Center. So, which they're all doing that there. How long did it take you to finish all of your ground school for the written? That's hard to answer, and I actually messaged the person that asked this question too. So I could probably knock out private written in 2 to 3 weeks if I buckled down, but I had like a month and a half to really be able to knock that on. He said, I'm still here. Okay, I see you. I got you, DJ. Oh, man. I'm used to just seeing like the numbers go, like people come in and the number go up and then the number go down. So, I don't know. So, honestly, like I know people that knock out the private written like in a matter of like 2 weeks. For me, it's actually been beneficial to not knock out all my writtens prior to school, because when I took my private written, I already had flight experience at that point. So there were questions that were on there that I was able to easily answer because I literally have done them. Like I physically did those. I practiced what it's asking, but not all the time. So I can see how some people might still find it a benefit. And if you the questions you get wrong in a written exam, they take those and they ask you that during your check ride. So when you do your oral, they'll ask you questions related to the sections you got wrong on your written. So keep that in mind. But yeah, and Blue Line actually doesn't, I don't know if anything's changed, but when I came on, Blue Line told me not to knock out all my writtens prior to coming on. So that's a thing. Good final question. So this is my like, I don't know what you call it, like my dirty secret. Outer Banks is the show that's on Netflix. And it's weird. It's not, I don't know how to say this. It's like Top Gun. It's where it's like, it's a good show, but it's like, it's not, like, it's one of those things that you could recommend to somebody, and if they came back and they're like, nah, like, you would get it. It's really weird. I don't know why. And who's the fave in Outer Banks? For me, I'm in between. I'm actually in between Pope and JJ. I don't know why. I like Pope just because I connect with him on the whole, like, being logical and responsible kind of thing. But JJ's kind of like, no homo, spirit animal. I'd go for that. I'm totally down to, like, just have, like, a crazy, screw it all kind of lifestyle. Although his how would you say, his safety with firearms is horrible. So, but Outer Banks, if you guys ever get a chance, I don't know, I like it. It was a good show. Key is the bomb. Key is. I'm a fan of Key. I was in between between Key and Sarah, and I don't know. Just over time, I don't know. I'm still in between, to be honest. Like, there are things about Sarah that I'm like, yeah, but then there's things like Key is. I don't know, man. He's on point. Jake Smith's talking about Key, by the way. For anybody that's wondering, I just ranted about Key. Key and Sarah are the two main women characters in that show, and they're both badass in their own sense, I guess you would say. So, oh, you guys, that was a lot of talking. This is actually pretty short. Unless you guys have anything to ask about, you guys can ask. What did we talk about? We talked about me almost crashing during a land, flying with F-15s. IFR has been amazing, by the way, anybody that's curious where I'm at right now. I'm still in IFR because, once again, the way Blue Line does it, you do private, and then there's 3 stages in commercial. So you do private, you do commercial stage 1, and then you go to IFR, and you complete IFR, and then you go to commercial stage 2 and 3. And so right now I'm in instrument, and instrument's been amazing. It feels like cheating. I still can't get over that. It's weird putting it on autopilot. Like, some of the procedures that you do is literally coming into land, like, okay, here we go, like, we're on autopilot. Okay, cool. ATC just said something. Cool. 2 buttons, the aircraft's now descending. Okay, we've crossed over this point. Light on. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's very methodical and fairly easy. It's not as easy as I'm making it seem, to be honest. It still just feels like cheating to have autopilot on. But it's so great to, like, set things up. Because you can take off, put on autopilot, and have a discussion about your next lesson, and then take off autopilot and hand fly, which you hand fly a lot of these procedures too. So that's the thing. For anybody that doesn't understand, IFR, once again, instrument rated, means I can fly just by instruments, essentially flying blind with just instruments. And they have specific procedures for aircraft to come in. Think of it like they've established roadways for people to come into airports. And those you have to know exactly what to do. There's specific things you're supposed to do at every point on that roadway, and you have to know what to do with there. How far along you on Blue Line? So yeah, once again, instrument stage. I am supposed to graduate most likely at the end of July. It was originally the end of June, but that's because in private, weather is such a sensitive subject. So you have to have, like, perfect weather to fly in private. So I got delayed on my check ride for like 2 weeks or something like that. But after that, like, now we're back on point, and it is fast. It's fast. How's Chloe? She's good. She hospitalized my grandma. That's a thing that happened. I don't know if I talked about this in previous ones. Best way to explain this is when she comes from outside to the inside, she gets the zoomies, and she, like, gains all this momentum and just runs, like, and literally hit walls, the whole deal. And for you guys that don't know, Chloe's my dog, and she's not with me. She's staying at my grandma's, which is like 2-3 hours from here. She essentially gained all that momentum, jumped over the back of a couch, because my grandma has a couch that's not up against the wall, jumped over the back of that couch and landed on my grandma's hand. Now, my grandma's, I think she's in her late 60s, early 70s. I think she's in her early 70s now. So Chloe's claw went in so far, and there's pictures of it too. You can see my grandma's bone of her finger, like right here. You can see the white of her bone. It was, oh man, I felt so bad about it. So what ended up happening was, now my grandma just sits in this chair that won't happen in. She got stitches, she's fine now, but that's a thing. I did not trade dogs. I still need my transition dog. Oh man. Let's see. Will you try to stay on as a CFI at Blue Line? I don't know. I'm in between on how I want to go about that so far. There's a side of me that really wants to go back to Florida. Like, I'm mad that I'm going to be missing the human. By the way, huge thing. They're launching humans May 27th from Kennedy Space Center. Grandma's 86? What? Holy crap, I did not know that. I thought she was like 10, 12 years younger than Grandpa. Well, I look bad. All right, well, I try to stay being in a CFI blue line. It seems on point. Like, I can see why I would enjoy being it. It'd be cool to stay with Diamond Aircraft. I like the area. Like, it'd be kind of cool. But there's a whole side of me that really wants to go back to Florida and be able to instruct there. Or maybe even do skydiving. I don't know. I have not figured that out yet. So, yes, that's what it is. My grandma just looks so young. That's the one. But yeah, cool. You guys, I still have like all this sandwich left. I'll probably give some. There's a dog here. His name is Dutch. I'll give him some. Well, if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna start the timer. Hold on. Crap. Give me a second. Let me eat this. Let me drink water. Thank you, Johnny. There is something I'm interested in aviation that I just kind of found out like 2 days ago. You guys, peanut butter marshmallow is not good for you if you don't want to choke. I'm from South Florida and I was looking into ATP or Blue Line, and your video conflicts me because you make me want to go to Blue Line. Biggest thing is I would not choose a school. The only reason why you would choose a school by location is to make sure that you don't go to a location where weather's going to really screw you over. ATP has a location in Ogden, Utah. And they supposedly it's a really nice facility, but they experience cancellations supposedly all the time, according to a student that I talked with that went there. There's another student I talked with that goes to he went to Lift Academy, which is in Indianapolis, and they deal with cancellations all the time. But as I explained in the video, essentially the Bible Belt and below, like the weather's on point, and I wouldn't choose a school based off that. For me, I love Florida. Believe me, I'm telling you, I love Florida to death. It's like my place. But it's, for such a short time period of your life, it shouldn't be a factor. Because, like, okay, I want to be in Florida, but I'm not going to allow myself to go to, I don't know how to say that. I don't know. I just wouldn't choose a school based off that type of location. But, I don't know. You just take my video as a guideline, as a foundation on how you would choose which school you want to go to. For me, Blue Line's the shortest school I've ever seen. It makes sense. It's not more difficult from the way I've talked to other students who have been to 9-month or 12-month programs. And you're knocking it out sooner. You're saving that much more money. And you're learning to fly in actual, like, different kinds of weather. I've flown with, like, freezing conditions. I've also flown with, like, right now we're dealing with summer conditions, and so I'm getting a lot of experience with that. I know some people that know people that know people. My point is... yeah. Okay. I think that was it. I think there was something else I was saying prior to that. Oh, I'm kind of interested in the idea of what it takes to run a local airport. I don't know why. We've been stopping at all these little local airports, and it's like really cool. Like, I really like these little areas and stuff. Like, and once again, it's just a new thing. It's kind of like it's a thing in its infancy, and I'll see if I'm interested in it or not. But it'd be kind of cool to run a local airport. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But that being said, you guys, I'm about to start the timer, and that gives you about 2 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, ask them now. If not, you can always message me. And you can always comment on the YouTube and Facebook videos that I end up posting these on, and I always respond to comments on there. Unless they are politically motivated, I don't deal with divisive comments. Sorry, it's not my thing. Timer. Oh, no, gotta reset it. Okay, there's my, oh, nope, still messed up, guys. Guys, see, I told you I'm off, man. I can't do these. I can't wake up from a nap and then do these. That's not healthy. Okay, I'm down for logistics if you need a coordinator. Yeah, dude, it'd be so cool to run a local airport. Like, there's so many things about that. Like, so many ideas started running through my head. And I get to be, like, business-oriented. That'd be cool. And Mom went the racist route. Hire Johnny, he's a minority. It'll make you look good. Yeah, that's the reason why I do it. Mom is born and raised in North Carolina. If you can't see that, we are the new majority. Sorry. Yikes. And with that, if you have any questions, shoot them to me. You have 2 minutes. I need water. Oh my god. Remember, any of my Florida peeps, May 27th, we are launching humans to the ISS. We haven't done that since the space shuttle. That's 2011. Okay? May 27th. And you know what? Be there for me. I waited a year to be at that launch in person, and then the NASA administrator told people to not show up, which is kind of sad because of COVID. Oh, and by the way, and the sheriff there that's in that area, the sheriff said, no, I don't care. You guys can come. So, conflicting information. So, that being said, I'm going to miss that launch. You can be there you can watch it with me. Watch it for me. I'm going to request from my instructor to not schedule anything on that day, because I intend to watch it. So, May 27th, it's supposed to launch at 4:32 p.m. And it's going to be amazing. Hey, I'm Hispanic, I'm Filipino, and even though I'm here Carolinian. Mom, you know you love that Spanish food. Yeah, we have this restaurant in Jackson called Mi Cabana. Oh, hold up. I'll see you guys possibly next Saturday. If I haven't even talked about, we'll see. Or I always post here on my Instagram stories. Oh, man. Hold on. That was a lot. I'm literally cooking fish after this. This is the weirdest thing. Alright, love your face. Oh, and by the way, I'm talking with people to potentially bring them on here as guests. So, we'll see how that goes. Morris, really, Matt? 15 seconds left. Really? Morrissey Aviation is the one that I'm going to be sharing you guys with that I told you about earlier. Strunky? Really? You guys, 4 seconds left. I'm leaving. I can't break tradition. I love your face. If you have questions, let me know.